Alright, hello everybody. Let me just set up here. Alright, it's 3 o'clock and this is Kaylee with with Cloud Media Marketing and Feedable, and as promised I am going to be going over a few different things through Canva, how to create some content using this free service. And well, let's just get started. If you have any questions or anything, I have a couple of cameras set up here and here, but they are facing they're facing the screen and not me. So if you have any questions and you're on Facebook, I should be able to see it here on my laptop. Otherwise, I will check Instagram in a little bit. But let's get started on the big screen here with Canva. So what we're going to do is jump right in and take a look at how to create a few different things, different pieces of content on Canva. Before we get into the actual content building, I do want to show you a little bit more about Canva and how everything is set up. So let me just make sure everybody can see me with cameras here. All right. Good hi on Facebook and a hello on Instagram. And it looks like, yeah, volume's up, so we should be good. So canva.com is where we want to go. It's canva.com, and I highly suggest doing this on a desktop. Canva does have an app. It is very useful when you're on the go and you already have content designed. You can download it straight from the Canva app and then onto your phone, and then you can post it to Instagram and Facebook. But the actual designing process is much easier on a desktop. So here we have canva.com, and this is pretty much what you see when you log in. They do have different banners every once in a while. So if yours doesn't look exactly like this, or with these items here, it's okay. But canva.com, you'll usually see something like this and some template ideas down here below. You can see my name is up at the top, and we have some different links on the side. For this tutorial, we're going to be looking at content for social media. So there's so much more you can do with Canva, and I'll scroll down and show you a few different things that I've done. Here's a cover for a binder, here's the spine for the binder, here's this little social media image for Facebook and Instagram. I designed this in Canva. Here's some business cards. This is a LinkedIn banner, and I just got into doing more of this LinkedIn stuff, and that should be another video that I'll be showing you. It's very interesting. LinkedIn is having a moment right now, so I highly recommend getting more into LinkedIn if you haven't yet. But right now we're focusing on Facebook and Instagram. So we've got a few other things here. You can see that a lot of these things are different sizes, and that's because this is a flyer, so it's 8.5 by 11. This, I made a tiny little business card, and I actually use them as markers for my candy station. So each thing was actually different candy. Same thing with this, with different punches that I made. So you could do so much on here. I mean, I made presentations. Up at the top here, I've got a presentation for a board that I'm involved in, like an actual PowerPoint presentation. Some more social media content, and there's a whole bunch of different things. I have sizes that are large enough for this big TV, and I have business card sizes. So 2 by 3 up to, you could do banners, like actual printed banners that are 4 feet long, and they actually do have their own print center now. So I've actually had them print my business cards for a couple of my businesses. So let's get into a little bit more of here. So you can see create design. These are some sample templates. And if you hover over them, you can see the different sizes. Now some of them are in pixels because they're meant for mobile first, which means digital. This is a poster, 18 by 24 inches. So that's meant more for print. presentation is like a PowerPoint presentation, 1920 by 1080p, which is a standard PowerPoint. And then they also have these animated social media posts, which are pretty cool. Oh, and I see I have a question here, so hold on one moment, let me answer. I go to the event through Stephanie. Yep. If you go to the Facebook page for Cloud Media Marketing and then go into the event, I'm doing this through the event. Okay, and if you look on this lower screen here, I can show you that real quick. So I'm going to go to my home, going to go to Cloud Media Marketing. You could just type in Cloud Media Marketing, and then we have events, and then this is the only active event right now, and then it should be in to the discussion part. Yep, here we are. There's a little bit of a lag, interesting. Okay, but yep, here we are. So back to Canva, and I'm going to minimize this. Back to Canva. So we have a bunch of different things here, and really all I'm going to focus on, and again, you can see all these custom designs, all these templates that you can make. It's the limit, there is no limit on Canva of what you can do. It's pretty cool, and especially it's all for free. I have a premium account, so I pay $10 a month, which is still a very, very reasonable price. And I'll show you as we get more into the designing what comes with a premium account. So today we're only going to focus on the social media template, 800 by 800. So what's going to happen is, okay. So Stephanie, once you're in the event, go to discussions and then scroll down and you should see it like I see on my screen here. Go to discussion and you can't spell today. With the live feed. Okay. So we're going to focus on just the social media, and if I click on social media, it's going to open up a new window with a blank template. So this is the 800 by 800 pixels, which is what I do use a lot in my social media. So from here, we can start doing all kinds of things. You can start with one of their built templates, or you can upload all of your own artwork. I have 4 different things open here that I want to run through, so instead of using this, I'm going to close this out and we're going to go into one that I've already built and we're going to replicate this. Okay, so this one I did open and closed. So for a holiday in the fall, if your business is going to be open on, say, Columbus Day, then I would post this one on my Facebook and Instagram, and then say in the status, come on in, we're open, or something, or closed. So what I'm going to do is hit this little button here, copy page. They call it a page. If you scroll down, oh, where did it go? Oh, yeah, there we go. Up. So 1 and 2, they look the same. Okay, so what I'm going to do is delete everything that's on here, and we're going to start fresh. So here's that blank square. This consists of an image and some text. So it's pretty straightforward as far as what you need to do, which means that it's pretty quick and easy to do. All you have to do is know how to be able to do this. And that's what we're going to be doing right now. So we have image and text. I like to start from the back working forward if I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to start with the image, this one here. And over on the left-hand side, you have a whole bunch of different things. So on the far left, you have templates, which you could start with a template. If I click on one of these, say that, it'll autofill this whole square with exactly what you see over here. Now you can see these lines, these crisscross lines, and it says Canva. That means that this image I would be charged $1 to use it because it's a premium offer. A lot of the stock images are $1. Everything is free or $1 through Canva. Okay, so when you hover over something, you can see that this one doesn't say anything in the bottom right corner, but this one says free. So if I click this one, this image is a free image, so I wouldn't be charged anything to use this. So what I'm going to do is just go back, and this is the back button, forward button up at the top left. And that just goes back a step every time you click it, or forward a step. Okay. So for this, I'm not going to use a template, but I am going to use the next option here, photos. Okay, and then we have all these different things which I will go over as we move forward through these different examples. Okay, so here I'm going to just, actually at the very top here, there's a button that said fall, so I clicked fall, and I'm still in it. So I'm not going to click that, but you can see you can do fell instead of fall. You can click through all of these, fall in, fell, yeah, all these different images. You can also, well, because I'm a premium member, I can click here and it says free, so all of these images that show up will be free for me to use. Because I'm a premium member, I have access to a wider selection of images than a free user, but there's still tons of available stock images on here for free for everyone. Now, because they update these pretty much daily, it might be hard for me at the moment to find this exact image because I did create this one a little bit ago. So let me see if I can do that real quick. Fall leaves, maybe? Which they seem to all be fall leaves. Scrolling through. I don't remember exactly what it was called. That's alright, we'll use this one. And make sure that the second page here is active, which means that there's this blue bar. So if I'm working on this one, you'll see the bluish green color comes up around this, but I want to work on this one. If I click, it'll just pop over, or if I click and drag, it will autofill the entire section. Okay, so I'll do that again. Click, drag, which actually is the one I used for closed. Or I can click, drag, and see if I bring it in the middle, it'll just pop in there. But if you get it just right, click, drag, and drop when it autofills. Now you can see the whole thing is filled in automatically. Now, if I don't like the exact position, I can double click, and I can move this to the right or left. This one doesn't go up or down just because the size of the image, but some of them you can move up and down instead. But, you know, I like how it was, so I'm just going to hit cancel. And now I'm going to grab that same font. It's called Lemon Tuesday, but I'll show you how to do that. So we go over here again to the very left-hand side. There's some graphics, which we're not going to use in this one, but text is the next one. I'm going to click on add a heading. At this point, it doesn't really matter which one of these you use. If you do something like one of these squares, it will autofill with the way that this looks, and then you can change each section. I don't find that super helpful, but a lot of people do. So I show you that, and I can go over that at any time. But for me, what I'm going to do is double click in here, double click again to highlight everything. Once it's all highlighted, I type in my word, open, double click on it. This is where the text options is. This is the size, this is color. We have bold, italicized. We can make it center, left justified, right justified, or justified. We can make it all caps. We can add a bullet. We can do some spacing, so some kerning. We can make it really wide or really close, or just the default. The default line is this tiny little hash right here, if you can see that. Line height, so if we had multiple lines, we can make the lines more sandwiched together or more spread apart. We can go over that in a different one. We can do all kinds of things. So what I'm going to do here is double click, go to that Lemon Tuesday because I've used it already. It's at the top, but under this line you can scroll through them. All the ones with a little crown mean that they're premium, so premium members have access to them. Non-premium members can use a lot of these, but you'd have to pay. I can just keep scrolling. I mean, I'm still an A. There are so many fonts, it's ridiculous. And you can also upload your own font if you're a premium member. So if you have a branded font, you can use Canva with your own branded font that you have purchased. But for this, I'm just going to use Lemon Tuesday, like in the example. And this one was about 130 size font. So I'm going to double click that, double click again. I'm going to click on the image, scroll down. Here we have 120, and then I can just readjust the size here. Now I'm at 135, so the squares on the circles on at the corner readjust the whole thing, or these lines move left and right. So if I wanted it on, you know, one letter per line, or I can do it right there. So I'm just going to take that, move this right in the center. See, the purple lines are alignment lines, which mean that this is telling me that it is perfectly centered top to bottom and left to right. So if I move over along this blue line that's horizontal, that just means that I'm in the center top to bottom, but I won't be perfectly in the line. You can see the big square is the safety line, and that just means it's more for print projects, but that helps you stay within the margins. If you download something from here and load it up onto Instagram, it might readjust the size a little bit, so you do want to stay within those purple boxes. So usually in the center works the best. And again, if I wanted to do some spacing, letter spacing, make it nice and tight together, or make it further apart, and it's up to you how you want to do this, what it looks like, but there we go. Now in this one I changed the color to white. This one, the background is kind of white, but say I wanted to make it orange or something, come up to the top, click there, and here are all my color options plus the little plus sign. I can pick anything I want. Now this here, hash, and then this code, that's called a hex code, and if you have a brand preference, you can actually type in your hex code and tell it exactly what color you want to use. For this example, I'm just going to pick this like orange, and then maybe I'll make it a little bit darker. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, so then there we go. So two different versions of this open, and now let's see if we can do this closed exactly how this is. So I'm going to highlight everything, and to do that I just clicked over here, clicked over somewhere off the page, off the canvas, and then clicked and dragged all the way across. That highlights everything. I hit delete on my keyboard, and there we go. Okay, so you can see that that one had a background that was brown, and then this image holder, and let me show you how that happens. So back over here to the left hand side, we have that template, which we're not going to use, photos, which we will use, graphics, which we're not going to use, text we'll use in a minute, we're not going to use videos in this one. We do have background, and that's what that color was. If I click and drag this over here, you can see exactly what color that is. And if I want this to be exact, what I can do is grab this hex code, so I Control C for copy, and when I go down here, because I've already used it in this one, I can do that, but I could just click on it and now it'll match, or I can do the plus sign, double click here, paste the code, and it will be that same exact color. So if you're working on two different tabs or something, you can click and copy all of that. Okay, so now we move this back over here. If we wanted, so if we go back to the left hand side, go to graphics, and go to grids. Forgot they moved it over here. So sometimes Canva is fairly new, and they've been working on a bunch of different upgrades, and they're trying things out. So this used to be its own thing, grids and frames, but now it's under graphics. So we will be using graphics. So you Click graphics, scroll down to grids. If you click this first one, it will cover the entire image space with this placeholder. What that does is now we can go to photos, and here's that image that we're using. Click and drag that in here, and it's basically that same type of deal where if I just clicked it and dragged it, it'll fill in the whole thing. It's just kind of a different way to do it. But here we are, pretty much exactly aligned. This, however, you can see it's darker, and that is because the transparency is lowered and the background color is coming through. So that brown color that we put on there is coming through. If I move this over, click on the background and change that to white, you'll see everything lightens up. But if I put that dark color behind it, that transparency makes the background color come through. So to do that, again, just click on the image. This button up at the top right is transparency, and if you hover over anything, it tells you exactly what it is. So copy style, position, duplicate. This means transparency. And we're going to bring that down to 75. You can also type right in the box if you know exactly what you want, enter. And if we go back to our sample, it was 75, so this is 75. All right. Then, looks like I did a little bit of adjustment just to make it more contrasted and darker. So what that means is we go to this adjust button, and I can tell it's different because if it was by default, everything would be here in the center, but all these different scroll bars here are not in the center. They are moved. So what I'm going to do is copy this filter code because we have exactly what we need. But you can see here, I just played around with the brightness, played around with the contrast, played around with the saturation, left the tint, but if you play with the tint, you can see the different colors kind of come through. The blur stays the same, but if I bring up the blur, blur is very sensitive, so you only need like a 1 or 2 if you're going to play with it. It's like this is a 2. And again, I can click on it and change it manually. The X process is moved up a little bit. If I keep moving up or down, you can just play around with these because each one does a little bit different things, and it's not super easy to explain, but you can kind of see where we're going here. So again, I'm going to highlight the filter code, Control copy, Control or Command, go to the one that I'm working on, hit adjust, and see everything is in the center except for vignette. I'm going to highlight the filter code, Control V for paste, and there we go. They're pretty much exactly the same. And now all we have to do is add the text. So what we're going to do is go over to the left again, get our text tool, click on add a heading. Oops, I must have still been on that one, so I'm going to reactivate the one we're working on, and then click add a heading. I'm going to type in my word, closed, highlight the whole thing, click on the text, get that Lemon Tuesday again, and then I can play around with the sizing, the position. So you can see this one was, the one that I did before was 130. Click on here, really close actually, 128. So if I type it in 130, enter, and you can see this moved down to a second line. What that means is the text box isn't big enough. So I just need to grab the left or the right handle and pull it, and then it'll all go into one line. And then I can play around with the spacing, with the position. This looks pretty good. So I click off of it, and now you can see they're pretty much exactly the same. Now for the final part, we're going to download this onto our, I'm going to download it into my Dropbox, and from Dropbox I can then upload it to Facebook or to Instagram from my phone. And that's kind of a separate issue, and I can do videos and tutorials on that if requested. In fact, I already did a video on that. I will link it somewhere on Facebook and on my website. So most of the time we're going to be doing one image. This happens to have 4 different pages. They call them pages. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Like I said, most of the time you'll be dealing with just one. So when you hit download, all you have to do is hit download and then download. But because this we're going to download as an image, and Canva's usually pretty good. If you're doing something that's like a flyer, like 8.5 by 11, they'll say you want PDF print suggested. This is a social media image template, so they're going to suggest PNG. PNG or JPEG are for web-based. You can't upload a PDF to Facebook or to Instagram. You need to have an image file rather than a document file. And these two are obviously not going to be used. Video, because this is not a video, or animation, because it's not an animation. So most of the time, for social media, you're going to be downloading in the suggested PNG file. So then the other thing to keep in mind is when you have multiple pages, if you download it right now, it'll download into a zip file. And that's just not my favorite way to do this. So in order to get around that, you select the pages and you do them one at a time. So I'm going to click page 2 and then hit done and then hit download. It'll take a second to upload into my Dropbox. You'll recognize this if you use a computer on a regular basis. You can decide where you want to put it. I'm actually going to put it on my desktop for the moment because I already have this one done and I don't need to go into my entire Dropbox folder. So I'm just going to go into desktop and I'm going to say that this one is called open. You can see here it's a PNG. Everything looks good. So I'm going to hit save. It's downloading here. If you're on an Apple device, you'll see that little bounce and it will go into your downloads file and then from there you can move it. But I'm on a PC. So that is how we do it on a PC. And then if we want this closed one as well, again, download, PNG, standard, it's default. So all pages, no, I just want page 4. Hit done, hit download. Again, if you want this to go onto your phone, have access to it on your phone, you're going to either choose Dropbox or whatever you use as your cloud storage system, which you can use OneDrive, Google Drive, anything that will link from your desktop to your phone or device. But again, for this example, I'm just going to go to my desktop. I'm going to choose this one as, mark this one as closed, and hit save. Okay, it'll take a second. And now I can close this out. So that tab is done. Now we have, using our own image, adding some text and adding a logo. Okay, so I'm going to start with a new page. And I duplicate the background, so I'm just going to trash that. Nope. This trash can up here. Okay, so now I have a blank second page, just so you can see them next to each other. And what I'm going to do first is find the image that I want to use. And in order to use your own image, you again come back over to the left-hand side, and all these different tools over here. I'm going to go down to uploads. Then I'm going to upload an image or a video. And then I'm going to find where I have this video. So in this case, I already have it uploaded, so I'm just going to scroll down until I find it. Here it is, and my doggies. So here is that image that I want to use. I click, I drag it over, again, just till it gets to this point where it autofills. And now you can see I'm much more close up in this one. And this is very far away, so I'm going to double click on it, and then I'm going to take the corners, and I can't make it smaller, but I can make it bigger. I'm going to make this bigger, And then I'm going to just click and drag it to where I want it. Somewhere about there. Then I click done above the image to the left. Click done. And that's about good. And you can see this one looks a little bit darker. So that means that I have adjusted it a little bit. Up the brightness, up the contrast, up the saturation. So I'm going to just copy that filter code. Go down to the second one. You can see this one, all standard. But if I double click in here, paste that filter code, now they're the same. Again, I can keep playing with this, make the saturation all the way down, which basically turns it black and white. Again, with the, if I work on the contrast as well, I can play around with that. I can tint it to be a different color, or I can use the X process to make it kind of wonky. I can do all kinds of different things. You just play around with it until you're happy. Usually, if you want to brighten something up a bit, you up the brightness, up the saturation, up the contrast, or make it down, turn it down a little bit. Depends on what you need to do. I'm going to double click on this again real quick. There we go. Because this image is so large, it might take a minute. And I'm just going to bring that down just a hair because that was bothering me. I could see the bottom of the photo. Now it's good. Now we're clean. Okay. So what we want to do next is have me pointing at something. Done. Okay. So now we want me to be pointing at some text. So again, we go over to the left, grab our tool, that's the text tool. Make sure this is highlighted. So this one's active. Click, add a heading. And then for speed, I'm just going to Control copy, Control paste. You can see it goes to the default Open Sans Extra. Open Sans Extra Bold is the default text here. But this one, if I double click in here, you can see it's called Finger Paint. So I'm going to activate this text, click the down arrow, and I'm going to type in Finger Paint, because if I scroll all the way down, it will take forever to get all the way down to F, because there's so many fonts. It's kind of unbelievable. This is center, this is left justified, so that means I need to make it centered. So again, highlight it all. This button is the alignment. It is now centered. And now I can play around with the positioning, the sizing. Let's see here. This is where I kind of want to make it smaller to make it fill up more lines. So some see A, blank wall. And then if I hit Shift Enter, there we go. Some see content potential. There we go. Now this is 56 font size. This one is 48, so I'm going to type in 56, make it a little bit bigger, just so it's the same size for the purposes of this tutorial. And then I need to upload my logo here in the bottom right corner. And again, I uploaded that, so I'm going to go over to my uploads and find my logo. Because I have so many in here and I am a pro member, I'm able to also separate these things into folders. If you're not a pro member, I don't believe you're able to use folders, so you probably won't see this button over here. But here is the Feedable logo. So I click on it, it pops into the active image. I click and drag the top left corner down to make it smaller. And then I'm going to put it right in the corner of that purple box. And it kind of snaps in there, so you'll know that you're snapped. And there we go. So now I'm going to actually delete this entire page. So I only have one, so I can show you what it looks like when you download with just one page. Okay, so this is done. I hit download. Again, it's for the web, for social media, so I'm going to leave it with the suggested PNG file. You can see there is no pages option here because it's only one. So all I have to do is click download and then download. Again, this will prepare my design. Take a minute to go live. Find where I want to put it, and then name it if I want to. What Canva does is it will automatically give it a name once you type in some text. So some see a blank wall, and again, I already made this one, so it will actually say, some see a blank wall, I see content potential. I can change this if I want. This is where the name is, at the top above the image, next to the share button. I can delete the whole thing and just say blank, oops, fingers in the wrong position, blank wall, something like that. And then when I download it, it will automatically call it what's in that name field. So you can see here, blank wall. Okay, so there's number 2. If you go back to the home page, you'll see your designs, and here are the designs that we just worked on. They come up to the top left under your designs, and all of them are in chronological order as you start to fill this out. If you want to, you can also rename it by clicking on the name and calling it something different, or you can hover over the image, click on the 3 little dots, and you can make a copy. You can move this to folders. If you are a premium member, you can download it from here. It's the same exact options. You can trash it. You can comment on it. You can do all kinds of things. You can get a shareable link, so just like in Dropbox or Google Drive, you can share things with other people. You can share it right from Canva. Okay, so before we move on to this one, which is actually a Canva template, I'm just going to double check, make sure everything is good. Cool. On the cameras, excellent. All right. Maybe someday I'll have a video producer. Somebody follow me around to the camera. Okay, so this one here is something that is fully Canva. It's just a blank type, simple image. I started with a template and I just changed the wording. So I'm going to do add new, delete the background. And then you can see over here, this one looks oddly familiar, right? So if I click on that, and again, you see a little free, so this is all free to use. Now that kind of starting to look exactly like this. So this is one of those times where I said, you know what, I just need something super quick. Thank you for your review. I wanted to post this on social media, saying, because somebody gave me a review, and I wanted to say thank you, and then link in the status bar to that person's review. So I came into Canva, found, actually I think I searched for QUOT, oops, I cannot type today, sorry. I think I searched for type, and then I found this one right here. So once I used it, it went into my recently used. I could do this one instead. There's a whole bunch of different options, but I'm gonna show you exactly what I did to get from there to here. First of all, this has Canva, so I clicked on that and I deleted it. This is one of those text groups, and like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of these, so what I'm going to do is click over here. It says ungroup, click off of it, and then I can click on each individual piece, the top and the bottom, and click a little trash can, delete it. So now it's starting to look even more like this. I didn't even change the font. All I did was highlight everything in this box and then typed in what I wanted. Thank you for your review. I don't even think I resized it. 42.3? No, 48.5. Okay, I resized a little bit. Probably just did this. Put it right in the center, which means boom, right here. And then I clicked on the background, and you can see this little box came up. So if I click over here, it'll turn that color. If I click here, it'll turn this color. If I click on the white, it goes into this color because it's the standard. If I click off of it, that little thing disappears. So I'm going to click on the background, click on the color, and then click on the color that I want. So say I want this blue. Boom. How easy is that? Would it take 2 minutes, even with explaining it all? So Canva, designing something for Facebook or Instagram does not have to be tough. It does not have to be time consuming. If you know that you want to say thank you for something, or if you know you want to say, you know, Holly Jolly Christmas, or if you want to say Happy Halloween, Halloween just passed, then all you have to do is come in here and grab a template, change it around a little bit, and then you're done. So I'm going to delete that just so that I have the one image. Again, we're going to go to download, PNG, download. And this is one that you could probably actually do on your phone, since it is a template that they already set up and all you have to do is change color and text. So this is thank you for your review. On my desktop, normally, again, I would put it into my Dropbox, and then I would go into all these different things. You can see it actually, all these different things that I've created. I've used this one a couple of times, but here it is. Thank you for your review. I hit save. It's going to say it already exists. I'm going to say yes. And there we go. So there's number 3. And here is number 4. This one does have a few more things to it, so I wanted to show you this. And again, you can see where I got this. This is what Canva is good for. All of this stuff they design or you design, you can use it for free. So I'm going to just add a new page, delete what's there just so you can see it. Hover over this, it says free, so it is a free thing to use. Everything on here is free. Now in this case, this is for an upcoming Facebook Live that I'm going to be doing on Facebook's new announcement. You can now schedule Instagram posts through Facebook, so that's super exciting, and I will be sharing how to do that very soon if you're watching this live. If you're watching this in the future, then look out for that video. I haven't set an exact date yet, so kind of ignore this, but let's get into how I designed this. So again, I'm going to be doing something with Facebook. So instead of these little champagne glasses, first what I'm going to do is ungroup all of this, so I can individually change things. The champagne glasses I'm going to delete, just hit delete on your keyboard. And now I get to go to graphics and play around with some of these. And you can see all these different things in here. There's so many. So they started doing them in different groups. If you know what kind of thing you're looking for, you can search for that. So I'm just going to search for Facebook, and now all the Facebook things that they have come up. It makes it so easy. It's so much easier than it used to be. I'm going to click on this top one. Then I'm going to use the handles to resize. Move this over. Still looks a little big. Bring that down. And then I'm going to position it over this. It's a celebration. You can see hopefully you could see the dotted purple line. That means that I'm in the center of this text. So all the way down, I'm central to all of those. If I'm over here, it'll tell me that I'm aligned to this little line. But if I move it here, I'm central. I'm in the center, so that's exactly where I want to be. So boom, that's done. Now, I'm going to take this. It says announcement. Again, you can type this in. I'm just going to paste it. Same thing with this. Copy, paste. Now you can see this is going to be a little trickier because it takes over all this image, but all you have to do is take those bars, those little handles, little buttons, and make the whole box smaller. So you can see it's aligned with the top and the bottom dashes. Here, same thing, top and bottom dashes. So there we go. Now what I can do is just make sure it's still in the center, and we're good. Then this part here, Control A to select all, Control C, or Command, on a Mac, I'm going to double click it here, Control A, Control or Command A to select all, Command or Control V to paste. And how easy was that? Just click off of here and you're done. If you wanted to, you can play around with the different colors. So this is a square, and if you wanted it for some reason to be a circle instead, what you can do is go over to the left-hand side, go to Graphics, hit the X, just close out of that, and then you'd scroll down to Shapes and click Circle. So I could do circle instead if I wanted to. Resize that a bit, maybe make sure it's centered. And then you go to Position, this button up here, and if you hit backwards, you can see everything's coming through. Okay, so now it's got a circle behind the square, behind the images. I can take this square and hit delete, and now everything is on the circle. And now I would probably want to change color, maybe to this blue, maybe to a purple just to see what that looks like. Maybe change the background to a blue, and then this also to a blue color. Something like that. You know, just to show you how easy it is to change. Click, click, click. I could do the same thing with the teeny tiny little dashes. Here is the color. Change that color. The only problem is because they're so close together, it might be a little difficult to grab just what you need. And if it is, then you come down here to the bottom right, click on Zoom. You can make it full screen. You can see a different view, but this one is really the most helpful. You click on this and then you can adjust. So this one says fit, this one says fill. Sometimes I like to see maybe 45% or 75%. Then it's a little bit easier to grab exactly what you want since you're working with some smaller features. Okay, and then I'll go back to fit. So now, same exact information. You can see it in two different ways. Again, I'm just going to delete that. And this I'm not actually quite ready yet to do. This is one that you'll be seeing on my Facebook feed and my Instagram feed in a little bit. But again, when I'm ready, I'm going to hit download, PNG, download, and put that in my Dropbox, and then I'll be able to upload it right to Facebook and Instagram. All right, what was that? Almost 50 minutes? Perfect. Does anyone who is watching this live have any questions? Let me go to the camera screens. If anybody does have any questions, again, let me know. This video will be on my Cloud Media Marketing Feedable Facebook page after I download it and then upload it right to the feed. And then I'll also be adding it to my YouTube channel and to my website, which it will be cmmct.com/feedable. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, anything that you would like to know and you think I know how to show you, let me know. And until then, thank you so much for watching.